went back to his regiment, was marching up at the conclusion of the war up Beacon Street, Beacon Ave. His mother saw him. "You never grown to your mother. He's a man now." She grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and said, "Boy, where you been?" He became a sign painter in Cambridge. Then he became a minister. In 1938, when Roosevelt dedicated a monument, the 75th anniversary of Gettysburg, he was one of the men from the North chosen to shake hands with some of the men from the South.
What was his name?
His name was Eli George Walker. Eli George Biddle. Okay. Eli George Biddle.
And that's a name, Biddle.
That's where they came from, the Biddle family of Philadelphia when they were enslaved.
And you're saying that I interrupted that sentence.
I met his grandson who had his grandfather's rifle, and he died April 8th, 1940, the last man to die in that regiment. And he became a minister and then shook hands with at Gettysburg with men from the South to commemorate the Battle of Gettysburg.
Now you got all of this by going back and researching that story?
Well, what happened was I went back and I was so inspired that I wrote a poem, half of it on the plane and half of it when I got back. When they dedicated the Black Civil War veteran statue in Washington, they asked me to fly out and recite that poem at the unveiling of the poem. When the drum beat and the fife subside and the celebration's done, and the memory of the men who died, both North and South, is one, this regiment will still shine forth in annals of the free, the Massachusetts 54th, who fought for liberty. Abe Lincoln had refused to act. Moreover, Stanton, too. The one to recognize the fact was the Governor John Andrew. He fought to do what saved the war, bring blacks into the fray, for up till then there'd been a bar by both the blue and gray. When Lincoln signed the document which brought emancipation, while the administration did relent to accompanying authorization, from the Commonwealth the call rang out, "Come colored men to arms." Amid the ridicule and doubt, they answered war's alarm. They came from city and the farm, left sweethearts, wives, and mothers to wear that Union uniform and free their shackled brothers. From every state they filled the roll, from Maryland to Maine. The governor more than reached his goal. His mandate now was plain, to show that these black fighting men were equal to the task, to never have to prove again, to never have to ask. They served for less than equal pay, accepting none till righted. Enlisted they remained to stay, their honor yet unblighted. Eli George Biddle, Edward Hines, and Sergeant William Carney, the knowledge of whom redefines the Northern Grand Ole Army. Then Andrew turned to Robert Shaw to lead this regiment, for in his bold braw men he saw the strength of firm commitment. The men fought valiantly that day, though victory was denied. Amid the wreaths and laurels lay a source of newfound pride. For courage, neither black nor white, resides within us all, when we surrender to our plight and answer duty's call. When the drumbeat and the fife subside and the celebration's done, and the memory of the men who died, both North and South, is one, this regiment will still shine forth in annals of the free, the Massachusetts 54th, who died for liberty. So I basically recited that.
And was that the one at the 4th of July?
No, I did another one on the 4th of July.
Okay, because this one was dedicated to
the Black Civil War veteran statue, to black veterans who fought in the Civil War.
Now you did another one because we were talking about Frederick Douglass's 4th of July, and then you recited one you had done. I'd like to hear that one.
I really don't know what it's worth to celebrate July the 4th, pay tribute to our nation's past when in the slave role we were cast. Somehow the nation has forgot the part we played within that plot to break the back of subjugation born of Britain's rank taxation. 5,000 soldiers of my hue gave battle to ensure that you enjoyed the fruits of liberty, though none of us were then set free. Oh, promises were freely made that after battle we could trade our chains for spoils of victory and join with free humanity. But lobbies strong of Southern view made mockery of leaders who would make the Constitution stand for liberty throughout the land. In every war from then we thought that if we battled, if we fought, you'd recognize our loyalty and in due course would set us free. It took the spilling of your blood with ours upon this native sod. In freedom's name you paid the price, the ultimate in sacrifice, to mount in fact a great crusade to right the error that you made by failing to make us a part of this great nation from the start.
No, absolutely. We've got 1 minute left, and I am just floored by your ability to remember your. You came from a family of griots, I know. Like Alex Haley said, and I come from the father of so and so, from the father of so. I believe you could go all the way back, and it is about DNA.
It is
in the end, because look what your father did, and you inherited everything from him. Who knows? We know who he inherited it from.
Well, we all have a common ancestry.
We have a common ancestry. You've got to do the book. I think from day one now, I'm going to stay on you till you just start the chapter, because I know that you'll just run it through. It's just so beautiful.
Well, you've inspired me. You did yours, and I have to do mine.
Oh, you really have to. And let me just thank you again for being Noah. And as we go out, we're going to hear you sing this wonderful song, Lush Life. This happens to be one of my favorites, was one of my husband's favorites, because it says so much. Tell me what Lush Life says to you. Just why it's so
I'm in
special.
recovery. I'm in recovery from alcoholism for 31 years, and it reminds me of what it was like and what happened and what it's like now. So whatever I can interpret through that song, which Billy Strayhorn brilliantly wrote at the age of 17 years old, to have that much sophistication about life. So it talks about life in an alcoholic haze.
Right. So let's just kind of close our eyes and think about this song. We're hearing it now. It's coming out right now as we go off the air. So thank you, Noah, for such a beautiful
Thank you for allowing me to have
half an hour.
Jerri.
It's just flown away.
I used to visit all the very gay places, those come what may places, where one relaxes on the axis of the wheel of life to get the feel of life from jazz and cocktails. The girls I knew had sad and sullen gray faces with distingué traces that used to be there. You could see where they'd been washed away by too many through the day 12 o'clock tales. Then you came along with your siren song to tempt me to madness. I thought for a while that your poignant smile was tinged with the sadness of a great love for me.